What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino?
Pretty dandy, pretty dandy. I'm kind of upset though and kind of bummed out because I know this episode is not going to be as good as last because we were so good last episode and I really enjoyed it. And that's all I've been thinking about the last couple days was, man, how are we going to top that one? That was good. We argued, we had a good time. I had energy.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
And
So,
and we hit a milestone, Casino. Speaking of, on
I know I'm
our
old. Leave me alone.
on our YouTube channel, Only Sports Podcast. If you're just listening to the audio of it, we also have a video version of it, full episodes on YouTube along with clips. On our YouTube page, we had our first video since we've been doing this, and this is going into
Go
year
viral.
3. Almost, we had it hit over 1,000 views.
All right.
So that's pretty huge.
I
It's
mean,
nice
that
to
that that was a long night of just constantly rewatching that episode.
yeah. Both Casino and I watched it 500 times a piece, and now it is finally at 1,000. But thanks everyone who watched that video. I know it was super controversial because I said the Broncos wouldn't be good, but you know, we'll make our picks today. That's what we are here for. Week 1 in the NFL starts. I mean, we're recording this about 1:30 our time, so it starts in about 4 hours, Casino, which is insane. Super Bowl I was going to say Super Bowl rematch. It's not. AFC Championship rematch between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Any thing you want to touch on, Casino, before we dive into our Week 1 picks?
I was going back. It kept me up last night, as you know. We were messaging back and forth about our picks. It kept me
Yes.
up last night on who I was going to go for, whether it was going to be the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Ravens. I have it being such a fun game, so we can just dive right on in because I got to just get it out of there. I just got to make the pick, and call it, and walk away.
So for our picks this week, Casino, I thought because the slideshow was such a massive hit from our last episode, I would run it back with the slideshow. And I was like, I'm just going to put both logos and a versus thing on the slideshow. And I was like, that's kind of boring. And I'm sure there will be weeks where I will do this. But instead, I put two things that represent uh,
Us?
the two teams playing each other.
Oh,
So it's also like if it's a rapper, I put another rapper. If it's a movie, I put another movie. If it's a sitcom, I put another sitcom. So they're all in the same realm. And the first
we're in for a
game
treat, everybody.
the first game we are going to talk about, Casino, and actually I just realized I put this out of turn. All right, there we go. The first game
Starting off hot.
we are going to pick, Casino, is, of course, the Chiefs versus the Ravens. Two Simpsons characters. We have Chief Wiggum versus when Bart was the Raven from, I believe, the first Treehouse of Horror ever. So
The
here
Edgar
it is.
Allan Poe one, yeah,
Yes,
so
a
good,
great episode.
so
But
great.
and also, I did these all on my phone last night at like 1 a.m. They were crystal clear on my phone. For some reason, when I put them in the computer, they like pixelated a little. So the images are not as clear as I would like them to be. But still, that doesn't matter. You get the joke. And I did this for every pick. So get ready, Casino. But
Man,
we,
you're putting some labor hours in here. I'm so
I
glad we did this.
I did. It took an
We
hour and a half.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
we got into a whole debate with our group chat about and I don't do shit. I just come on here and I smile. I'm definitely the Robin to this Batman over here.
That's not true. I said we're Superman and Batman.
I just don't know how to do all this stuff. I'm not tech savvy like you are. I don't get it. I can
It's
barely get my computer on.
it's okay. As you can tell, I also barely know how to do it because all these images will be blurry. And I didn't realize that until we were about to start the show. But Casino, first game of the new season, Chiefs versus Ravens. Do the Ravens get revenge for the AFC Championship loss, or does the Chiefs' momentum just not stop?
I'm I debated this all night last night. There's a thread between BJ and I that
Yeah.
probably lasts 10 minutes of reading. But I decided I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I have to go with the Ravens because Derrick Henry is going to be just a big challenge for the Chiefs to handle, and they're not ready for it. I don't think anybody is ready for the Derrick Henry Lamar Jackson duo. Obviously, we know that Lamar Jackson's decent through the air, and he makes a living with his legs, but now he doesn't have to do that. So he's going to be more of a dual threat quarterback now because he's going to be able to throw more often. Because people are going to be focused on Derrick Henry in that backfield anytime he's on the field. So I think the Chiefs are going to be too hyped up for this banner release and all of that jazz that they're going to fall flat. They typically don't do well at the beginning of the season, but that's vice versa with the Ravens. The Ravens are typically good, and then they blow out in the playoffs. So I'm going to go Ravens. It's going to be close, but I'm going to go Ravens because Derrick Henry is going to be rejuvenated going onto a Super Bowl contending team.
I do agree with this pick, Casino, almost exactly with everything you said. The X factor in this game will be the biggest player that's new in this game, or I guess you could say the two new biggest players in this game, because the new ones added to this somewhat rivalry is the Derrick Henry, which he signed over from the Titans, right, to come be the Ravens lead back. So that's going to be the X factor. And then the other X factor is Worthy, the new wide receiver for the Chiefs on that side, because we know Andy Reid, right, wants to get his players the ball fast, get it to them early in games so they build confidence, right? He would always do a streak pass or a screen or just a slant first couple plays into the game to get Hill going, to get Kelsey going. All the eyes of the NFL world are going to be on this game, and I think it goes the Ravens' way. Again, last year, same kind of deal where it was the Lions coming into Kansas City, but it wasn't, revenge. It was just like, is this Lions team for real? And yes, the Chiefs were missing, I believe, Kelsey and Chris Jones in that game, but still, they got punched in the mouth. The Chiefs are one of those teams that I think at this point is pretty much every team that just plays their starters pretty um, minimally in the preseason, which I think is the right move because we obviously saw what happened to a player like McCarthy for the Vikings. But yeah, based on everything what Casino said, I'm agreeing. I'm picking the Ravens. I don't think it'll be a blowout. We're also going to pick
But
a
see, here's the difference: is you're picking the Ravens, and then you're going to pick the Chiefs in the playoffs to beat
yes.
the Ravens, right? I I was almost doing the opposite. I was going to pick the Chiefs, and then the Ravens get them in the playoffs. But I think the Ravens just wholeheartedly kick their ass both times. Now,
Ooh,
and when I
okay.
say kick their ass, I mean they're going to beat them.
They're-
That's it. They're
Yeah.
going to beat them
Also, so Casino has won the past two previous years for picks.
for,
Uh,
for regular season.
Yes, I'm like the Chiefs. I go pretty easy during the regular season, then I just turn it into a second gear in the playoffs, Casino. You've always said that about me. But we're also each week going to be picking what we think will be the blowout of the week, the upset of the week, the best game of the week, and then the guarantee of the week. And if we nail any of those, it'll be extra points. So there we go. But I do we think this is in contention for any of those? Because I think we both agree this could potentially be the best game of the week.
Um, I think this is going to be the best game of the week. I mean, again,
Ooh,
this
you're picking it.
I know I'm jumping ahead here, but like, yeah, this is going to be the best game of the week. I mean, you have the banner drop. It's in Kansas City. It's going to be electric there. Everybody's excited for the Chiefs to come on out. Taylor and Travis are still dating. She's going to be there. I'm not sure if she's going to be there, but I'm guessing she's going to be there. It's going to be a
Well,
big it's going to be a big night. Um, and I think everybody's going to pick the Chiefs, and I just don't think people are ready to see Derrick Henry on a Super Bowl contending team. That will change anybody's psyche going from, oh, I'm just gonna stat pad and look good and get paid to all of a sudden like, hey, if I play really good, we could win a Super Bowl. And that's something I don't have. That's gonna change his mentality on this. So I really think people are gonna underestimate how good this duo on the ground is gonna be.
True. I'm not picking this as my best game of the week, but I do think it'll be in contention. Also, have you heard the rumor that Taylor Swift has been drawing up plays for this Chiefs team?
I have. I've heard that, and I've heard that what's his face?
Andy
Andy
Reid?
Reid. If it's a successful play, like called the Swifty or whatever they're trying to call it and brand it as, if it's successful, he's gonna gloat about it forever because he likes the Taylor Swift thing. It brings so much more light to his team. He's excited about it. That 100%. If this works and this Swifty play that is being developed works, like I I'm gonna lose faith in humanity.
I guarantee the second it happens, if it works, the announcers will be told beforehand, like, this is the Taylor Swift play, so watch out for it. And then when it happens, it'll be a clip everywhere. It'll be the most talked about thing that week, and it'll annoy both
And if
you and
yeah, but if that happens, like we might as well just put our resume in, for
I.
offensive coordinator for all the shitty teams.
That's true. Next up, Casino, we move from the Thursday night game to the Friday night game, which is taking place in Brazil, and it is the Eagles versus the Packers. And we have apparently some safety concerns in
Oh,
Brazil.
who would have fucking thought? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Who would
Sorry.
have thought that? Yeah. I work with a lot of Brazilian people, and they always are going back and forth from Brazil. You can literally learn that from any Brazilian you talk to for 2 minutes that Brazil is a very dangerous place.
Oh, yeah,
So,
it is extremely dangerous. I had this conversation with somebody not too long ago, and, we were talking about, like, the Copa America or whatever, and, that whole finals with Argentina and, uh, blah, 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 whatever it was. But, Colombia, right? Yeah. And it was just mind-blowing that people were like, "Oh, Brazil's dangerous? Yeah, it's one of the most dangerous places in the fucking world." Like everybody's so jam-packed in that country that it's extremely dangerous. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, why
yeah.
I get it's for money, but I hate the international games. I hate them. I
I
can't
completely
I
agree.
can't stand them.
Yeah.
There's gonna get to a point where it's like they're pushing for it. Roger Goodell, if he has his way, he's pushing for it that there is gonna be about a 50-50 split of games in the US and out of state or out of country.
Yeah. I can't believe, honestly, we haven't heard rumblings of like a team in an
Well, I
international
mean,
country.
there's been rumblings about it via the fans. You're taking a home game
Oh,
away
yeah.
from one of the teams.
Yeah, well, this is technically an Eagles home game, even though because of some
Yeah.
team affiliation, they're not allowed to wear green. So they're going to be wearing their black alternatives as a home team, which again makes no sense
Oh,
whatsoever.
it's probably gang colors down in Brazil. Like that's not me being silly. That's probably a real thing.
Yeah. But we have here, Casino, the show of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
It's
versus that
fantastic.
70s show, which took place in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So, who you got, Casino? Eagles or Packers?
I mean, I was I was gonna go Eagles because I was basically outside of the Chiefs Ravens. I was pretty much just gonna go across the board. Spoiler alert here. Things could change with the favorites for the week, but I'm looking at these, man, and I don't know. I really like Kelso wearing a Green Bay helmet. I think it's fantastic. Um, but oh man, does Jordan Love do it? I mean, oh man, I'm gonna say Jordan Love's gonna do it. I'm going against what my original pick was. And the reason being is partially the picture, but it's off-site. It's an off-site game. So nobody's going to have home field advantage. Originally, I was thinking Eagles were going to have the home. Then I was like, oh, yeah, this is in Brazil. I am going to go with Michael Kelso, a.k.a. Ashton Kutcher, a.k.a. the Green Bay cheesehead over here. And I think they'll get it done in a slim margin. And then everybody's going to talk about, well, like, it was in Brazil. Let's not count this game. Obviously, it's going to count in the damn books. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go Green Bay. I'm calling it.
I am also picking the Green Bay Packers just because you know me. I do the reverse jinx on my team. I do, however, think the X factor in this is you never know what happens in these international games. They get weird. It's a different vibe, different environment, different.
Oh yeah, you
lead up
get
to the game.
you get green lasers shot in your eye when you're trying to play football.
You get regular lasers shot in your legs because it's so dangerous, and they've told both teams to not leave the hotel. And then it's also that thing where you hear all this bad stuff coming out of there, and you hear all the players being like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't know why we're doing this. I'm just going to stay in my hotel. And then it's the immediate, within 24 hours spin cycle where all of a sudden you have all these reporters on all these shows being like, no, all the players love this, like this is great for the NFL. And it's just like
No, it's great for Roger Goodell's pocket.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Same reason why this game is exclusively on Peacock and app, and that's the dumbest shit ever. I cannot stand how some of these marquee games are like locked behind a paywall. But next up, Casino, we have also, we're both going with the Packers on that one. So I'm going reverse jinx. Next up, Casino, we have the Packers versus the Saints, or the Panthers versus the Saints. And the Panther is obviously Black Panther.
How are you bringing the Saints into this?
The biggest Saint I know is Kurt Russell.
God damn it.
Also, he played Ego the Living Planet in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, so technically it's Marvel versus Marvel, but I can't. When I was thinking Saint, I was like, Kurt Russell. Didn't even hesitate. I was like, he's the best actor that's ever lived. Maybe the nicest.
I don't know. Tom Hanks is up there for one of the nicest, best actors out there.
But there's some Epstein buzz with Tom Hanks, Casino. You never hear that about Kurt Russell. Not even a mention. Worked around a lot of people. Never a bad word. Just saying. So we're going Panthers versus Saints, Casino in a game. I believe over our long text chain, you said not a single person would watch.
Yes.
So try to make this pick entertaining. Who you picking?
I don't know. What did I say to you? I don't recall.
I don't think you sent me your picks. You just said favorites, but I don't know who would be the favorite in this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought you would do your research when I just put that all out there of who was
I was too busy looking for pictures of Kurt Russell.
And getting off to it? Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think it was the Saints. I'm going the Saints. And my daughter's being a ghost. She has her shirt over her head and she's being a ghost.
Now, as much as I would love to pick Kurt Russell, he has really nothing to do with the Saints. It's just I think of him as a Saint. But I am picking the Panthers because all this offseason, all last season, it's just been nonstop shit talk about this Panthers team, about Bryce Young, including from this own podcast, right? This very own podcast, we've made those same allegations. There's no reason why this Saints should be infinitely better than this Panthers team. Both are going to be bottom tier in the NFC South. So this is all on the Panthers to show everybody something. They rebuilt in the offseason. Bryce Young has another year under his belt. He was the number one pick in the draft. So it's like, this is your moment to shine. Week 1, new season, brand new slate. I'm picking the Panthers in not a blowout of the week, not a guarantee of the week, not a best game of the week, just in a you need to show us something pick. Like, this needs to be the game where we see something from Bryce Young and just the Panthers as a whole, Casino. So that is...
Tell them what you want to say. Tell them hi. Say hi. Who are you saying hi to?
Hi, Dad.
BJ. Say BJ.
Hi, BJ.
Hi. Is
All
is
right.
she a Kurt Russell or a Black Panther fan?
I'm going Kurt Russell.
All
And
right.
they're -4, by the way. And the Saints are -4.
Jeez. Let's go next, Casino,
All
to
right.
the Vikings versus the Giants. And for this one, it was a pretty obvious pick. We have the Viking Raiders, a Viking style professional wrestling team, versus a man known as the Giant in WCW before he went to the WWE and was the Big Show. It's wrestling. We have the Vikings versus the Giants. Who we
God,
got,
these are
Casino?
so good. I'm very happy you did this. I'm going the Vikings. I'm going the Vikings. It's close. The spread on this is only 1.5 for the Vikings, but I am gonna go with the Vikings because I just can't fathom the Giants doing anything. Like this might be one of their only wins if they can pull this off, but the Vikings are not going to be good. They're not going to be good, but I think they beat the worst Giants because I guess we talked about they don't have Saquon Barkley anymore. Uh I don't know if Mr. Josh Daniels over there or no, why am I blanking on his name? Is that his name?
Who?
The quarterback
Sam Darnold
for the
or
Giants.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Got it. Keep continue.
So I am going to pick the Vikings as well. I do think that in quarterback matchups, I think when it comes to Daniel Jones versus anybody in this league, Sam Darnold's the one where it is a toss up, right? And it's like, oh, it could be one, could be the other. I don't think there's a massive talent differential here. I think Daniel Jones is obviously the better runner, but I think when it comes to their passing mechanics, offense, however you want to label it, I think it's pretty much a dead heat. So I am also picking the Vikings. Again, I like the Vikings supporting cast more than I like the Giants supporting cast. I do want to see some highlights from Malik Neighbors in this game, but I think again, when you compare Malik Neighbors as basically their only offensive weapons, as they lost Saquon, again, the Vikings have Justin Jefferson, they have Hawkinson, they have, or do they have Hawk? I believe they still have Hawkinson. What I'm saying is the Vikings, I believe, are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. But like I was doing with our predictions when we were guessing the Vikings or what their season would be like, I think everything outside of Darnold on this team is pretty like decent, good to decent. I don't think you can say that about the Giants. And again, they kind of hitched their wagon to Daniel Jones, and then he immediately broke his wagon wheel and he's on the side of the road, and they're kind of just having to carry him to the end of his contract, I guess, till it costs them not a lot of money to dump him till they have more options at quarterback. But yeah, Vikings, this would have been a much more interesting game if we would have had JJ McCarthy in it. But still, I think the Vikings, I don't know why I have hope for them this season. There's a little bit of maybe something here where they could be better than people anticipate. And I think a couple teams, maybe even the Panthers, which we just talked about, I think the Giants are in that. I would be legitimately shocked if the Giants were good this season. Not won a couple games here and there, like legitimately good. But yeah. All right, Casino. Let's move on to the next game. I know you're depressed right now, but let's make you more depressed by talking about
Ugh.
the Patriots versus the Bengals,
That's good.
Casino.
I like that.
Of course, for Patriots, I had to go with the movie, underrated movie, pretty damn good movie. Mel
The Patriot.
Gibson from The Patriot, and then he's going against the Bengal Tiger from Life of Pi. Make a case. I know you're not picking your Patriots. How do your Patriots win this game?
By the defense. I mean, I know that they lost out on Matthew Judon, but the only way that they can pull this off is by the defense. I mean, I still have the Patriots in the top 10 defense this season, but they just don't have a single piece of offense. Like zero, zilch, nothing. So Oh,
And it's confirmed that Jacoby Brissett is starting this game, right?
yeah. Yes, even though he got a little banged up during the preseason, he's going to start. Yes.
So basically, how the Patriots win this game is Joe Burrow looks bad because he's coming back from a really
It's
bad
not going to
injury.
happen. Joe
Uh,
Burrow is going to come out and light the Patriots up. He's
I,
going to light them up.
and then we'll all be saying, "Guess who's back?" And he's back again, Casino.
I told you he looks fierce, dude.
He
He
does.
looks great.
I'm pretty sure you gave the Bengals like 5 more wins than you thought they would win just based on the haircut.
Pretty
Which,
much.
yeah. But Patriots win this game by just running the ball. Ramondre Stevenson, you're on my fantasy team, so please at
I
least
love him.
get a touchdown.
You know what? And
And
I'm a
defense.
big fan. You know that he's
Yeah,
for those of you who
love
don't know,
him.
he's went to our high school. So woo woo, love it. I'm really excited for him. And yes, he did sign a 4-year deal with the Patriots starting. This will be his year 1 for that. I'm excited for him. I think he's going to do a really good job.
And you know what? Speaking of our high school, we moved into a new house, and my son was like, "Oh, cool! Now I finally get to go, or I get to go to the high school that you and mom went to." And I was like, "Why do you want to go to the high school me and your mom went to?" And he said, and I quote, he's 12 years old. He told me to continue the family legacy. And I was like, I don't know what legacy you think was built there, but
No, the
it was
legacy that was built there was you were the best person at getting in front of the line at the like food kiosk thing, which
it's
is how
true.
we met. Which is how we met.
That is true. I would always get you your pizza.
Yeah,
Your pizza.
that $1 circular rubber pizza that was just fantastic.
But you know what? Aren't you ever just at lunch now and you're just like, "Man, I miss school lunches." Just
No, not at
it
all.
just nostalgia, Casino, not necessarily taste. But this game, speaking of, is going to put a bad taste in my mouth. I am picking this, Casino. If everybody's correct, I'm picking this as the blowout of the week
Oh yeah,
because
this is the blow.
apparently,
This is my blowout of the week.
ooh, okay.
Don't I surprised? I sent you all this last night.
Again, I skimmed.
I
Next up,
broke it down for you.
there was a lot to skim. Next up, Casino, we have the Steelers versus the Falcons. We got a little DC versus Marvel going here. We got John Henry Steele versus the Falcon from Sam Wilson from Marvel. Casino stepped away, so I'll start with this one. So this honestly might be it might be a contender for me for just, again, we don't have this category, but just for a category of this could either be a really great game or a really bad one. I think there is a lot of interest going into this game, especially with Russell Wilson on the Steelers.
Everybody
How's
wants
that
to see how
going?
Russell's going to do.
And then everybody wants to see how Kirk Cousins on the Falcons is going to do, and if their offense is really going to be as explosive as we think it is going to be, right? You have Bijan on it. You have Kyle Pitts. Could he finally be a relevant tight end in this league and be what he was projected to be coming out of college? And then on the Steelers side, it's, will we see Justin Fields in this game? Deontay Johnson, will he take the leap that a bunch of Steelers wide receivers have had? How will the defenses on these two teams do, especially since the Falcons lost their defensive coordinator in the offseason? A lot of question marks, a lot of intrigue in this game, Casino.
A lot of intrigue.
I feel like this is one of the ones I will keep in my 4-box rotation on.
Definitely.
But who you picking, Casino?
I'm picking the Falcons.
We're agreeing too much. Last episode we disagreed, and it was
well.
great.
If I stuck to my original thing, it was definitely going to be the Chiefs, and it was definitely going to be the Eagles. But last night was a long night. Tossing and turning.
I do pick the Falcons, but I can't guarantee anything. I wouldn't bet on this game because I really do feel like this game is just a giant question mark.
I honestly thought you would pick this one as the upset.
No, I have an upset coming. and it's gonna blow your little mind. But
Probably not. I already know which one it is, I'm sure.
let's move on to the next game. The Texans versus the Colts. We have Sandy Cheeks versus Goofy, and Goofy is only the Colts because that horseshoe he's holding up looks almost identical to the Colts logo.
No, it's missing the rivets.
Well, it's flipped. It's reversed. He's holding it the other way. I couldn't find anything for Colts, and then I thought Texans, Texas, Sandy Cheeks. Here we are, Casino.
They're
Texans.
both cartoons. Well done.
I told you, everything has a theme. They all go together. What are we thinking here, Casino? Texans versus
I'm Texans
Colts.
all day. I'm picking my MVP.
You think he has an MVP performance in this game?
You know what? I do, and I don't think it's gonna be a blowout victory, but I think he's gonna pass very well, and most of it's gonna be through the air. Most of the offense is gonna be through the air. My son's pooping. This is great. He's over there just red as a freaking apple over there. But you probably hear him. I don't know if you hear him.
Oh, we can hear him.
Oh yeah, he's pooping. He's doing great. This is awesome. But I'm going the Texans. I mean, the line's only -3 for the Texans, which is that because Colts are at home? I don't know. The fact that this is that close, I guess it's just the week one thing where everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen. Because I remember last year we were talking about there were so many games, especially towards the end of the season. It was like the spread is -9 or the spread is +13 for the one. It was just insane numbers. So I guess it's got to be a week one thing until we see who's going to do what. But I'm going to be a realist here, and I'm saying this line should be at least -6, -7.
Dang.
Well, I really do. I think the Texans are going to handle the Colts pretty well.
Well, this just comes down to what is
God
Anthony
damn, I
Richardson.
can smell it from here.
this just comes down to what Anthony Richardson will be and what
you think he could come back from injury and play to what people were saying was MVP caliber when he was actually in the game.
Well, I saw a crazy stat that since high school, I don't know. This is one of those things I saw and I was like, that's crazy, and then didn't attempt to verify it. But I saw a thing where it said Anthony Richardson since high school has only played like 19 games or something like that.
Which is insane.
Like total. Yeah. Which is crazy that, again, he was a first round draft pick, and literally, I mean, last year, he started 3 or 4 games. I think in one of those games he was good. The other ones were rocky. So he's supposed to be the real deal. I really believe in Shane Steichen from what I saw in his days with the Eagles. So I think the Colts will be better, but I don't know how much faith I can put in Anthony Richardson. I'm also going with the Texans. This was potentially my pick for upset of the week, but I just don't think the Colts have enough to beat the Texans.
I agree.
Next up, Casino, we are going Arizona versus the Buffalo Bills. So, of course, we had to go Arizona Iced Tea versus Buffalo Wild Wings. Or not Buffalo Wild Wings, just Buffalo Hot Wings. So we're going, this category's food, Casino. Do you prefer...
I kind of caught that.
Yeah.
Food and drank.
You prefer wings or Arizona Iced Tea?
Arizona Iced Tea. I've always been a fan. I love a good chicken wing. Don't get me wrong. I love chicken wings through and through. I think they're delicious. All styles, boneless, bone-in, wings, drums, all of it. I love it all. But man, there's something about an Arizona tea that just gets me. But I always do. There was always 2 that I would go. One was, I don't know, the ginseng honey green tea
that one's
one.
Very good.
That one's really good. The original, and then there was like a black tea one that was I don't see anymore, but that was outstanding.
Dude, they used to make a blueberry one that came in like a bottle compared to all the other ones coming in cans that would only be sold at like CVS or Walgreens.
I'm going to go change my my son's shitty pants. I'm going with the Bills, Buffalo Bills. Cardinals are dumb. Murray's going to get worked. It's going to come down to the running ability of both teams. So for the quarterback, and I much rather go Josh Allen than Kyler Murray. Bigger, stronger, better in every way.
I this is actually
I gotta go change his diaper. I can't breathe.
we'll see. We'll see in a minute. This is actually my upset pick of the week. I think that this is going to be one of those games that we look at and we're like, how did the Bills lose? And then this also starts the narrative train of like, oh man, are the Buffalo Bills in free fall and all that kind of stuff? And then they shockingly turn it around and make the postseason, and then they're in the same spot they were last year, which is, can they beat the Chiefs? Can they beat the Ravens? Can they make it to the Super Bowl? Blah, 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 blah. I do think for both of these quarterbacks and much more the Bills than the Cardinals, this is kind of a prove it year, right? The Cardinals last year plagued by injuries. They had a bunch of random quarterbacks whose names I completely forgot starting games for them with the Kyler Murray injury. If Kyler can stay healthy, then who knows what this Cardinals team could be. I mean, they're in a hard division where I think both the Rams and the 49ers will be very good. I've heard the same things being said about the Seahawks where they will be very good. So that's why I think underdog, under the radar teams. What if the Cardinals are also good and Kyler gets back to the form he was a couple years ago? I'm also excited to see Marvin Harrison Jr. play. I think again, this is a under the radar game and a game that could potentially be really good. I do think this comes down to how well the Cardinals and Bills defenses can contain either of these quarterbacks. But even if they can't contain them, I do think their arm talent for both guys will keep both teams in it. So again, the Bills have lost a bunch of people. The Cardinals, I'm really just basing this on they're healthy and they were injury plagued last year. And, you know, everybody, including myself, is picking the Chargers to go to the playoffs, mostly because last year they were injured, they were bit with the injury bug. So were the Cardinals. So I don't know. I just think this is going to be one of those games where we're talking about it on next episode and just being like, how did the Cardinals beat the Bills? And we're going to say, well, Daddy over here called it. And this is my upset pick of the week. I do think the Cardinals eke out a victory. We're not in the blowout. Neither of us have picked a blowout of the week game, but yeah. So that's my pick. I'm going with the Cardinals in the upset pick. Casino is going with the Bills, and we move on to the next game without Casino, but he will be surprised by this picture because it is two super teams fighting each other. It is the Teen Titans representing the Tennessee Titans on one side and the Bears group from SNL representing the Bears on that side. Two of the most powerful teams I could think of. And this is really not game of the week, not upset of the week, not blowout of the week, but I think in terms of anticipation, I think this might be one of the most anticipated games of the year because everyone wants to see what Caleb Williams is, what he does, how he looks on the field in a full game in the NFL, right? We got flashes of it during the preseason. And based on one or two plays, there's sports analysts and sports media figures being like, this is
Where's the connection between the Teen Titans and the Bears skit?
it's two of the most powerful teams I could think of going against against.
What a stretch. What a stretch.
It's also television shows, SNL versus Teen Titans, right? And I also thought, because obviously I was going to do the Bears with the versus the Titans, but I was also like, I feel like Teen Titans in some variation has been on the air for 20 years at this point.
I hate this Teen Titan. Like,
Oh, the Teen Titans Go.
is that what it's called? Yeah,
Yeah.
this version of the Teen Titans. I loved back on the CW, the regular Teen Titans, the dark animated kids show. It was really nice.
Did you ever try to watch the live action version?
I did. I couldn't get past it.
I couldn't either. I couldn't either.
There was a lot wrong with it. They changed way too much. It's like the live action of all of the Avatar: The Last Airbenders. the animated show is one of the best shows ever. I'm rewatching it again now, but both the movies by M. Night Shyamalan and then the new remake now is so bad. They're so bad. They change way too much to try to fit it into. Well, the first one was just bad acting. This one they just try to fit it into the culture nowadays, and it was like you
Yeah, it's
you,
just weird.
you
Yeah.
ruined it. You
Yeah.
ruined it.
But
Anyway, moving on.
what you missed, Casino, was I was picking the Cardinals over the Bills as my upset pick. So I picked Cardinals over the Bills, Titans, Bears. There is no, especially with all the hype. You look at both rosters, you look at what both are, their win totals are projected to be, you look at where both teams are projected to be at the end of the season. It's almost polar opposites. There is no way the Titans can win this game. And if
No.
they do, I feel like that will be the number one story coming out of this weekend is
Oh yeah,
just how did this.
The Titans are in my bottom 5 as you know. And
Yes.
then as we talked about, and I know the Bears, they're and this is they're going to beat the Titans, and Caleb Williams is going to look good doing it, but you're doing against a bottom 5 team in the NFL on my pick, and it's just going to be it's going to be so fucking annoying. The Bears are back. The Bears are back. They finally got a good quarterback. You played the fucking Titans. Chill the fuck out. That's what's going to happen. I'm already frustrated about it. I am obviously picking the Bears. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
You and me both. And it's one of those things where if the Bears win, the hype train is going to have a lot more coal fired into that furnace, Casino. But if they lose, I feel like a lot of people are going to be in overreaction panic mode. And I
or
think
everybody's going to be like, I told you so.
oh yeah, this is definitely coming out of this game, either win or lose for the Bears or Titans. This I feel like is going to be the most annoying talking head game that is going to be talked about after the fact. But we're both picking the Bears. If the Titans win, I don't know how they do it. Next up, Casino. We're going Jaguars versus Dolphins. And I went TV versus movies here. I went Jason, what is his name? Mendoza?
Jason Mendoza.
From The Good Place, the number one Jacksonville Jaguars fan in maybe television history, versus versus Scarface, Al Pacino from the movie Scarface, Tony Montana, which took place in Miami. Because when you think of Miami, you think two things: dolphins and cocaine. So, who are you picking, Casino? The Jacksonville Jaguars or the Miami Dolphins?
I'm I'm picking the Jaguars. So it's funny. So I'm picking the Jaguars. Yeah, it's just that's what's gonna happen. What the hell? Sorry, continue. Keep talking.
I am actually picking the Dolphins. I think that the Jaguars are going to be a good team that make the playoffs. I think the Dolphins are going to be a good team to make the playoffs. I think this is in potential for game of the week. Just
So this is my upset of the week.
ooh, and you're picking the Jags.
Yes, because it's in Miami. The Dolphins are -3.5 across the board on all betting sites. I have the Jags coming out and winning because most of the time when teams go down into Miami, they struggle because the humidity. Well, guess what? The Jags are playing. They're down in Florida. You know, these are two Florida teams, and they're going to be doing just fine with the weather. I really do think the Jaguars go in there. I think our MVP pick from last year, Trevor Lawrence, goes in. He gets it done because, I mean, hey, it's a quarterback league. And honestly, I like Trevor Lawrence better than Tua Tagovailoa. So go Jags all day. I think they're going to be better than people think they're going to be. And I think the Dolphins are going to be a little more lackluster than, yeah. And that, I mean, that's why I don't have them winning that division. I have the Bills winning. You have the Dolphins winning that division. So
yeah, That's why I'm also picking the Dolphins. I just think they'll finish the season as a better win team. And also in the AFC, with both of these teams potentially fighting for a wild card spot with the divisions they play in, I think the Dolphins need this game much more than the Jaguars, even though the Jaguars, who knows what the Colts are going to be, but they're going to be uh battling it out with the Texans. With the Dolphins, they're going to be battling it out with maybe the Jets, definitely the Bills for a playoff spot. So I do think one of these teams is going to end up in the wild card, and one of them might potentially win their division. So this game is actually very important early on to how the season ends in terms of standings and things
Hey,
like that.
all the Jaguars need is an offense, a defense, and some rule changes. They got this. That's seriously one of the greatest lines I think in television history.
We both do love the Good Place, and every
So good.
Jacksonville Jaguar joke is really good in that show. Especially the Blake Bortles love in that show is
Yeah.
amazing. But I
Well,
am picking
Blake Bortles got injured. Now they picked up this guy Nick Foles.
I do.
The Super Bowl.
Oh, how naive we were, Casino. But I am picking the Dolphins, even though the changing of their defensive coordinator scares me, because basically Vic Fangio was holding that defense together last year with bubble gum and duct tape after almost everyone got injured. So I don't know how the new defensive coordinator is going to do. I like how all their guys are back. I'm picking the Dolphins because, again, we don't have to worry about the Dolphins, the Ravens, all these AFC powerhouses until the playoffs. Let's move on, Casino, to our next pick, which is the Broncos versus the Seattle Seahawks. So we went South Park, taking place in Denver, Colorado, versus Frasier, taking place in, I'm pretty sure Frasier took place in Seattle. They have the Space Needle in the Frasier logo. So, Casino, who you picking, Broncos or Seahawks?
I am going Frasier because not that it's a better show. I love South Park a little bit more. But I'm picking Frasier because that's just what it's going to be. The Seahawks are going to look good doing it. Broncos are a shit show. It's a done deal. We might as well just write that one off.
Yeah, I was trying to get there with the Broncos, but I just don't think they're going to be
Same,
very
actually.
good.
Oddly enough, I was too. I was trying to be like, no, yeah, they got a chance.
Yeah, but and also before this season started, for some reason, there's a lot of Seahawks buzz. Like, I just keep seeing nonstop, like, look out for the Seahawks this year. Seahawks might be good. And I don't know where this resurgence of all of a sudden the Seahawks are going to be a dangerous, possibly
Just trying to
playoff
make a
caliber
talking
team.
point.
Yeah, but I've seen it from multiple people, which I am shocked by.
Who said it first? That's the thing. Whoever said it first,
Well,
if it was a credible source, then everybody's going to be, unlike us, the only sports podcast, everybody's going to try to jump on the bandwagon of what the top guys are saying, because that's how they generate their picks in their sports. Yeah, we're going to go with everybody else.
That's why I let my hatred for Skip Bayless loose a couple episodes ago, because now everything is just hot takes. Everything. And it's just annoying as shit. And it's just like,
you see that he's starting his own show?
Yeah, I'm sure that'll do great.
Oh yeah, he's starting his own show with Lil Wayne.
Who can't wait to watch that? Who can't wait to watch that?
Here's the thing. I love Lil Wayne. I like him as a person.
Yeah.
I've lost so much respect for him, just the fact that he's going to do a show with Skip Bayless.
Well, also, are they going to have subtitles for Lil Wayne? Because I can never understand.
What is he just going to be auto-tune? Is he going to be auto-tune just going, scale? However Lil Wayne talks, I just can't. I can't.
But I'm right there with you, Casino. I'm also picking the Seahawks because I think the Broncos will be a dumpster fire. I think the Seahawks will be an 8-9 win team, maybe 7-win team, and kind of on that next tier of teams, like 2 or 3 wins away from making the wild card. But yeah, I just have no faith in either of these teams. Next up, Casino, we are going LA versus Las Vegas. So of course I go Elvis versus the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Casino. California versus Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, Under the
Yeah.
Bridge. Who you got? Californication.
Californication all day.
This
I
is my blowout of the week.
That's fair. I'm not shocked by that. I'm not shocked by that. I like the Chargers. I think they're going to make a statement. Um, News coming out is Herbert is feeling good. He's ready to play. He was dealing with some with some slight injury bug stuff. Um, but it sounds like he's going to be ready to go, full health, and he is excited to get playing. So with that under note, I really have the Chargers doing well this week.
Yeah, and I forgot we both already did pick our blowout of the week. We both picked Bengals over Patriots. So this was my second, and then I had a third blowout of the week. So I'm sticking with Bengals over Patriots, but I do think this game is going to get ugly. I think this is the perfect venue, perfect way for Jim Harbaugh.
I really thought, since you were going to all the movies, I thought you were about to say Perfect Storm and going Marky Mark on that shit.
But I do think this is the perfect Jim Harbaugh game to assert his dominance back, his return back to the NFL, to just put people on notice. I think Herbert, yes, he's banged up, so I think there's just going to be run heavy, play smash mouth defense. You're a much better team than this Raiders team that it has the potential to be a bottom 5 team in this league. So I do think also the coaching mismatch for Jim Harbaugh versus Antonio Pierce, I think is going to be on full display here. I think this could potentially get
outclassed in all shapes and forms.
I mean, just by like talent, skill in terms of roster, and then years and record, just everything across the board. It's Harbaugh over Antonio Pierce. So
I really like the Harbaugh boys. I really like them.
I do too. Next up, Casino. Maybe my favorite comparison that I've made. We are going Cowboys versus Browns. We are I just picked regular pictures of Jerry Jones and Deshaun Watson. So it's Jerry Jones versus Deshaun Watson in the pictures. And who you got in this one, Casino? Cowboys or the Browns?
Oh wow! First off, kudos, dude. Well done. I'm gonna go the Browns. I'm going the Browns because I like that defense. They're at home. I think Dak's not think. I mean, it's known Dak's upset with how the whole CeeDee Lamb thing's gone without him getting his payday, and it's going to be bad for the Cowboys. There's too much noise going into this game, going into the season. The Browns have been relatively quiet. Chubb is back. I really do think the Browns get this done.
Chubb is not back.
Oh, Chubb is not back?
Yeah.
No, I thought he was back.
No, it's Jerome Ford, I believe. I only know that because of fantasy.
Well, I like Ford. I do like Ford. No. When does Chubb come back? I thought he was back.
I think he's still going to be out for a month.
No.
I believe a month.
Well, I totally misread that then. I thought I saw something about him being back. Maybe I said, maybe he's coming back. My bad. But anyway, regardless, I like Jerome Ford. I like him a lot because wasn't he played on the Ravens there for a little bit, right?
I do not have that information.
Anyway, I like Ford. I'm all for it. So I'll Ford it. But this
nice.
guy, I can't stop staring at this Jerry Jones look-alike.
It's just two pictures of Jerry Jones and Deshaun Watson. I don't know what is so funny about that.
So for those who aren't watching the YouTube clip, it's an old deformed zombie skeleton.
It's the Crypt Keeper.
Oh yeah, there it is. I knew I'd seen that. It's the Crypt Keeper and Bill Cosby.
I just made the connection from Jerry Jones, Crypt Keeper, same age, same vibe, and then with Bill Cosby, both criminals, both allegedly both criminals. But yeah, when it comes to this game, Casino, I feel like this one is the one where just everybody's just picking the Cowboys, like basically across the board, forgetting that the Browns had the number one defense last year. Deshaun Watson's back, which I do think is a negative for the Browns, but who knows after resting for almost a year if he's just back and ready to put the league on notice and back to actually wanting to play football or showing that he can play football. So I do think this will be a much closer game because I'm seeing people thinking this is just going to be a blowout, like the blowout of the week. I don't think so. The Browns have the number one defense in the league. They got cut up by the Texans last year, but they also had Joe Flacco, who didn't he throw like 3 or 4 interceptions in that game?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. The Cowboys defense is very good, but again, this Cowboys team has no running game whatsoever. They literally have CeeDee Lamb. They have Dak Prescott playing for a contract. So who knows
A
where his psyche is.
disgruntled Dak playing for a contract extension, playing for more money again in his career with Dallas.
Yeah. So you're picking the Cowboys on this one?
No, I'm picking the Browns.
Oh,
that's what I said. I'm picking the Browns. They're at home. They're favored. I'm picking the Browns all day. They've got that stout defense. They got Ford. I thought they had Chubb back. I thought he was back. I misread that. But they got Ford. I really like this. I really like this team. Dallas is going to struggle.
Yeah, I am picking the Cowboys in a close game, but I don't think by any means this is going to be the game people think it is, which is just a Cowboys blowout, because the Browns under Jim Schwartz have just been a phenomenal
The
defense.
Browns last year had Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback.
No, they had Flacco.
Yeah, there wasn't Jacoby. Was Jacoby Brissett two years ago?
I don't. Man, they just had a hodgepodge.
They had a hodgepodge. Yeah, they had a hodgepodge. They still have a hodgepodge now. They just got a criminal hodgepodge. But that defense, man, that defense is what has put them. There we go, on the board the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. And I do think they haven't fallen
I'm all
off
over
much.
the place this show. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Casino. You have a lot going on over there. But next up, we're only 3 games away. Let's go Commanders versus Buccaneers. I picked Commander James Norrington from Pirates of the Caribbean versus the Buccaneer himself, Casino, Jack Sparrow. It's the Commander versus the Pirates. Who we picking in this one?
What did I send to you? I already did my upset of the week, right?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yes, you picked Jags.
Yes, I did pick the Jags. I was going back for this was going to be my other one. I was going to pick Commanders over Bucks. But I just think even though I have Jaden Daniels being my rookie of the year, I think he's going to need a game to get into groove. This is also down in Florida. So I have trouble seeing the Commanders going down there in the humidity and beating a Bucks team who I think is going to be better than most people think. So I am going to pick the Bucks on this one, but that does not change my outlook on the season for the Commanders to make the playoffs. I just the situation being game 1 on the road in the humidity, I'm picking Bucks. And that was another reason why it all came down to the weather, obviously being the 3 Florida teams in contention for having the upset of the week. So I am going to go Buccaneers on this one. I think we've got a makings of a good game, though. I'm interested in this game.
I agree. I do think this will be interesting to watch, but I also agree with you on the point you made. I think the Bucks.
But you're not as hot on the Commanders as I am.
No, I don't think they make the playoffs, but I do think that in a quarterback's rookie season, you just want to see sparks. You want to see flashes. I think we will see that from Jaden Daniels in this game and throughout the season. I just don't think the Commanders have enough stuff to get to the playoffs. I do think the Buccaneers are going back to the playoffs. I do think this
that's why it was one of my hot takes, man.
That is a good hot take. I definitely could see it happening where the Commanders are good, but I just think the Bucks had a lot of momentum last season. They build off it, kind of re-signed everybody they needed to this offseason, and now let's go to the Bake Show Casino and see the Bucks.
I'm picking the Buccaneers as well. Now I really want to see Baker Mayfield do a baking commercial.
I mean, you were saying how you never see any commercials with him in it
I
anymore.
love it. But maybe he's doing local commercials down in Florida. We just don't know.
That's true. Next up, let's go the Rams versus the Lions. So we're going LA versus
Yeah.
Detroit.
This is what everybody wanted.
And when you think of Detroit, I think of Eminem. I think everybody else does.
All day. 8
When
Mile.
when you think
Phenomenal.
of LA, you also think of Dr. Dre and the West Coast rap resurgence in the 90s or a surgence in the 90s, Casino.
Dude, this
So
duo is so great.
they're really good. They're really good. Who you picking, Casino? Rams versus Lions?
I'm going Lions. I'm going my Super Bowl pick. I think the Lions offense is going to throttle this Rams defense, who, as you alluded to last episode, was into the early 20s or early low to mid 20s for their defense, and they only got worse with Aaron Donald being gone. That I think the Lions just light them up. I really do.
This game, I believe, last year was a 3-point game, and it was
This is
pretty
what
damn close.
This is the one that I thought you were going to pick as upset of the week.
I also skirted around this game, but again,
I knew you would.
Yeah, this was going to be my upset of the week, but I just think the Lions, especially when we did the season preview, the Lions just have too much
Too much.
stuff.
I
They're
don't understand
too
how
much.
anybody can think the Lions aren't going to be the Super Bowl favorites as of right now.
Well, at least on the NFC side, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, yeah. I mean,
Well, just in general.
well, when we were doing the season previews, there was nobody more impressive last year or more projected to be as impressive as the Lions team were. I mean, they were basically top 5 in every position group, offense, defense, everything. I think last year left a sour taste in their mouth. I really think it's being underreported how both coordinators returned for this team. I think
Oh,
that's
right.
really
And all they did was they re-signed everybody. They got everybody. A couple other additions in the offseason. This team is going to be so good. Just so good.
Yeah. They had a good draft. They just added to an already stacked team from last year. Everybody stayed. I really think that's, the most underreported story this offseason. And I just think this is a statement game by this Lions team. Like, I don't know why everyone's writing us off. We're back. And that's not even saying this almost is kind of similar to your Commanders Bucks take, which is I think the Rams make the playoffs and bounce back. But I just think this early in the season against this good of a team, I'm picking the Lions. Next up, Casino, our last game. It's Monday night. It is Rice-A-Roni versus the San Francisco Treat versus a New York Slice. Who you picking, Casino? Jets or 49ers?
I'm going the 49ers. I'm going the 49ers. And it's all on the fact that I need the Jets being the Jets, and I need to see what Rodgers can do coming back from that injury. I have to, because the Niners, the Niners, they still have some health issues rolling on in. They had a lot of offseason noise rolling on it. So just for me, I'm going to go with the Niners on the sole fact of I want to see what Rodgers can do. Obviously, they're also at home. I want to see what Rodgers can do coming off of an Achilles injury. I just have to see it first. And until I see it, I'm going to go with the last year Super Bowl runner-up with the Niners.
Yeah, I am picking this as my best game of the week. I do think this will be very entertaining.
This was right around there for me.
Yeah, I do think there is a lot of storylines, a lot of prospects, a lot of interesting things going into this game, probably even more interesting things coming out of it to see how well Rodgers plays, how well this 49ers team does after a season of nothing but drama for them, like nonstop drama. They got Ayuk into camp late. They got Trent Williams into camp late. Christian McCaffrey is banged up. Who knows if he officially plays this game. Then you have the Purdy situation with the contract and just a lot of noise. And then with the Jets, there's always noise with the Jets. Hassan Reddick apparently is just not playing for the Jets, which that's a huge blow, especially after they lost
that was
Brian
another.
Huff.
Thank you for saying that. That was another thing that I had read up about that I wanted to address. That's another reason why I'm picking the Niners. Thank you. I almost forgot that the Reddick situation. Like, that's huge. That's huge for that team.
Yeah, especially because he was supposed to replace Bryce Huff, and now they just and again their D line and linebacking core going into this season was rough, and that was with the inclusion of Hassan Reddick. So now it's going to be even more of a rough turn for this Jets defense, which is still projected to be pretty good. But how good can they really be if they can't establish a consistent and or dominant pass rush? So I just think 49ers, much like the Lions, they should be the cream of the crop in the NFC. I still believe in Super Bowl hangover being a thing, but we'll see also a very
Well, and that
injury
was one of
plagued
the big
team.
reasons, yeah, and the injuries and the noise and Super Bowl hangover. That's why I was very contemplating making this game of the week and actually even picking the Jets. But
Yeah.
also with the Reddick situation and then Rodgers coming off of injury and them still having noise on the offseason, I'm like, I just got to go with the team that's more established. That's the only reason. If it was almost any other team that's, I would say, mid-pack or better, I probably would have picked them over the Niners. But
Yeah.
I just can't choose the Jets in this game until proven otherwise.
Almost identical to my thought process. This was almost my upset pick of the week. This was almost my blowout of the week. I feel like you can make the case either way, but the case we can make for it is it's going to be a good game, either from a on-field perspective or an off-field perspective after the game. So excited for Monday night. That is it with us, Casino. This is the end here. Anything to add before we get out of here, or
Yes. No, I do. So this will be a little taste of a future segment we're going to try to do since Casino's Fantasy Corner is no longer, since he's not doing fantasy this year. But I am going to try to do, like, I don't know what the name of it is yet, but doing like a little cap of the sports other than football, and college football, NFL, college football, and then obviously we're going to try to do some NBA and NHL. But even all of that aside, probably just try to touch on just like some hot topic stories, maybe 3, 5, I don't know, very, very fast. And yeah, like right now, I just want to say, like with the U.S. Open going on right now for tennis, a little snippet on how I'm going to do this. You have 2 semifinals going on today. For the men's side, you have number 1 ranked Sinner versus number 25 ranked Draper, versus the 2 Americans on the other side, Fritz and Typho. So that's going to be fun to watch today. And then the final will be tomorrow as well. So if you're into the U.S. Open, which I am, I like watching tennis a lot. We got that going on. And then you also have the semifinals for the women's, and I will not try to say their names. It's like Navarro versus Sabalenka and I don't know. Pretty much
continuing the tradition of not being able to pronounce names on
Yeah.
this podcast.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of names. Okay, there's so things like that. So just if you're interested in tennis, you got the semis today, and then the finals over the next 2 days, in the singles and the doubles. So check it on out if you're interested in tennis. If you're looking for something new and exciting to watch, tennis is a fun one to do. Yeah, go for it.
There we go. That was Casino's Untitled Sports. We'll think of a second. We'll think of a second name.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I just thought about it this morning or last night. I don't remember whenever we talked last. Whenever we talked last.
Also, to put a button and a cap on our week 1 picks, Casino, the only games we have different are 4 differences. I'm picking the Cowboys, you're picking the Browns. I'm picking the Dolphins, you're picking the Jaguars. I'm picking the Cardinals as my upset pick over the Bills. You're picking the Bills. I'm picking the Panthers, you're picking the Saints. The best game, you have Ravens and Chiefs. We both agree that the blowout of the week is going to be Bengals over Patriots. Upset, I picked the Cardinals, you picked the Jaguars, and then my best game of the week, I'm picking the 49ers and the Jets. So this now is officially the end of our week 1 pick podcast. I will be back Sunday night to recap Sunday's games and a solo show. That is going to be a new thing we do just for the football season, where we're going to do a Sunday night show after all the games are finished. We'll see how well that goes. And then We'll be right back here on Tuesday to talk about everything that happened in the NFL this past weekend. Also, college football as well, because big week in the college football with Texas and Michigan, which is going to be a great game. Let's add that one to the list, Casino. Who you think wins, Texas or Michigan?
Ooh, I mean, I'm gonna go Michigan. I'm going with. Yep, go Michigan.
Okay, then that's the fifth game we have different this week because I'm picking Texas.
That's fair. I mean, I wasn't prepared for this one. I haven't looked into it.
Surprise.
You caught me off
guard. So this has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. Football is back, and we're here for it. We'll see you Tuesday.